My name is Michael Blaser. My PDGA number is 45848. And this is my team Trilogy in the Bag. I'm going to start with my putters. I've got my harp that I use for my upshots and approaches. I like the harp because of its dependable fade. That's what I use mine for. I like to stick its landing. You know, that's usually the best thing to do with a harp because they definitely don't have much distance, but if you need them to go and stick and fade, you've got the harp for that. And then my go-to putter is the Judge. I like the classic blend. The classic's a little too hard, the prime's a little too hard, and the soft is definitely too soft, but there's something about the classic blend that is just perfect. And then we're going to start off with more of my putters. I've got some more classic blend Judges, and then a lucid hand-eye Judge that I use for my upshots, or not upshots, but from off the tee pad. I like to drive with this particular disc. Then we're going to go to my mids. I've got a compass for those times when you really need a dependable fade to the right, to the left, but you need to guarantee it. Then I've got a prime EMAC for some of the weird weather, and that one's not quite as beat in as my other lucid EMAC. My lucid EMAC is beat in enough that it's pretty dependably straight. It doesn't really have much of a hard fade to the left. It does stay a little straighter than I want sometimes, which is why I use the prime EMAC. It's not quite as beat in. And then when I really need some distance off the tee for those tweener holes, I have my Warship. I really like the Westside Warship. There's just something about that extra distance and glide that it seems to have over the EMAC. I've had some pretty nice placement shots and had some of those shots where you release it and then everybody tells you nice before your disc immediately hits a tree. And then my Trilogy Challenge Patrol, I have this one specifically for those shots that I need to fade to the right. It has a nice predictability to it, but it's not so hard on the fade to the right that it's going to just keep turning and stay gone. You know, it's not going to stay forever that way. It will come back just a little. Then we're going to go to another one of my favorite throwing putters, the Trilogy Challenge Maiden. The Maiden was one of those discs that when I got it in the Trilogy pack, I immediately knew that this had a spot in the bag. I love the dependability of the straight flight. There's not a whole lot of turn, and when it does finally fade out, it does fade predictably, lightly to the left. It doesn't have a super hard fade. And finally, we're going to go to my drivers. I don't really have any distance drivers. I've tried to disc down because I've found that my arm speed isn't where it needs to be at this point for me to use distance drivers like the Captain or the Enforcer. I just don't have that amount of power that I really wish I had, and that's one of my goals for this 2019 season is to get my rating up and to get my arm speed up to where those drivers become dependable in the bag. But my first disc up is the Striker, the Latitude 64 Striker. Like this disc specifically for its predictability. It has a very predictable flight path. You're not going to get much deviation out of it. Really nice placement when you need a nice controllable shot. Then I have my Mavericks. I've got a Lucid X Melton Maverick that is my money disc. This one is the one that if I'm aiming for a straight shot, this is the one I'm going to immediately. This is my most trusted fairway driver. It goes where I want it to, and I truly enjoy that. Then I have my Fusion Maverick. I really like the Fusion plastic. I like how predictable it can be in its flight and that it doesn't add too much stability. And I really like the Maverick for that slight understability that it has. There's something about being able to throw this off the tee and know that you're going to get that kind of kick out to the right and then it's going to predictably come back for you. Then I've got my Latitude 64 Explorer. I use this when this is another kind of thing I need that fade to the left. I just need that. I know I can grab this particular Explorer. I also have a second Explorer in I believe this is the Gold Line plastic. Don't really pull this one out too much because this Explorer, the Opto, is beat in enough that it doesn't have as hard of a fade, but again, I'll come back to this one if I know that I need that predictable fade to the left. Then I've got, for those shots that invariably you have a hole on the course that is a drive to the right, I use my Witness. I got an X out version of this one because I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, and it's one of those discs that is in and out of the bag. It depends on what course I'm playing and what kind of setup we're going to need, but usually it's in the bag specifically for those weird shots where you don't think you're going to need something fading to the right. This guy will stay turned over and go as far to the right as you need it to. And then finally, I have a Hand-Eye Supply stamped Fusion Getaway. I use this specifically for those. This is my meat hook disc. This is the disc for me that is the beefiest. I was using, for a while, I was using a Criminal for a lot of my super long hyzer shots. The Criminal is super beefy. If you've never thrown a Criminal, it's going to go right or it's going to go left regardless of what you do. It will go back. But I found that with the Escape, I didn't have enough of that turn back to the left or that pull to the left. So I went with the Getaway, and I found that it has a very sweet spot in my bag. I can throw it out on a nice, super long Anheuser line, and it's just going to strike back into the left. And this is my go-to disc for those shots that I need that I know I need them to come back. I really love the Trilogy plastic. This is my Commander bag. I love my Commander bag. This mini that my wife bought me, a little Fusion Judge with the Captain America stamp on it. And then I have my water bottle from the couple of the Piney Woods events out here in Tyler, Texas. What are these things called again? Oh yeah. My pins. I've got my pins in there. I really support Joe Mez and all that they do. And I've got a lot more minis. A whale sack from Tina Stenitis. Another whale sack from Zach Melton. If you can't notice, there's a trend. We really like Zach Melton. And then towels for that inevitable emergency, Trilogy towels. Let's pull one of those out. The Trilogy towel there. And then finally, one of my favorite ones is my Hand-Eye towel. I got that in the Hand-Eye Supply subscription pack, and I really like that towel. It has come in way handier. But I want to thank you for your consideration. My name was Michael Blaser, and this was my Dynamic Discs in the Bag.